Coronation Street has just dropped a massive bombshell that has the entire fandom completely bewildered. If you thought the mystery surrounding the tragic death of evil scaffolder Theo Silverton was finally over, you are absolutely mistaken. Just when we thought we had this massive mystery all figured out, Sunday night's explosive episode flipped the script entirely, throwing Gary Windass and Sarah Platt right into the centre of a very shady, very secretive storm. Viewers are going absolutely wild trying to figure out if these exes are hiding a scandalous romance, or if they are the ones truly responsible for Theo's untimely demise. Before we dive into all the juicy details, the secret meetings, and the shocking fan theories tearing up the internet right now, I need you to do me a quick favour. Please smash that like button, subscribe to CoronationST update, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest Weatherfield drama. Your support means everything and helps us keep bringing you the best daily tea. Now, let us get straight into this incredibly intense situation. Back in April, we had the highly anticipated Mystery Week, which concluded with the deeply satisfying but highly suspicious passing of Theo. This guy was an absolute nightmare. For nearly a year, he subjected Todd Grimshaw to relentless mistreatment and psychological torment, making him one of the most despised figures on the cobbles. Naturally, when he met his end, the suspect list was incredibly long. We had Todd himself, Gary Windass, George Shuttleworth, Christina Boyd, Danielle Anderson, and of course, sweet, innocent Summer. It seemed like an open and shut case of everyone having a motive, but in typical fashion, DS Lisa Swain, who honestly has a horrible habit of pointing the finger at innocent people, officially put the blame on Summer. Severe accusations surfaced, and poor Summer found herself locked away behind bars for a fatal incident she likely had absolutely nothing to do with. The situation has gotten so dark that Summer, who is diabetic, has actually stopped taking her insulin. She is terrified of spending her life locked away for an incident she didn't commit, and she is putting her own health at severe risk, almost creating a self-imposed OD'd situation by neglecting her life-saving medication. She is currently fighting for her well-being in Weatherfield General, and the stress is absolutely tearing Todd apart. But while Todd is breaking down, things over in Gary and Sarah's world are getting incredibly strange. Due to the football schedule, this absolute rollercoaster of an episode aired on Sunday night, and it did not disappoint. Early on in the episode, we saw DC Kit Green, who happens to be in a romantic relationship with Sarah right now, deeply questioning Gary. Kit was pressing him about Todd's phone, which mysteriously turned up in a skip by the builder's yard. Here is where the plot thickens drastically. Gary had already wiped the CCTV footage from that specific night. He deliberately erased the digital footprint, leaving the authorities completely stuck and unable to move forward with the investigation. Kit suspects Gary is hiding something massive, and honestly, we all do too. Sarah, feeling the heat and looking more suspicious than ever, picked up her phone and made a frantic call to Gary, telling him she needed to see him immediately. She rushed over to Gary's flat, and the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. As soon as she arrived, they fell into a desperate embrace. Gary held her and promised her that Kit would not find any evidence because there simply isn't any. He kept telling her it would all be all right, but his eyes told a completely different story. And just when you thought their secret meeting couldn't get any more stressful, Gary's wife Maria suddenly walked through the front door. Panic set in. Sarah had to physically hide around the corner, holding her breath, while Gary desperately fabricated an excuse to get Maria out of the house. He suggested they go to the Rover's Return, just to clear the living room so Sarah could make her escape. Over at the pub, the emotional stakes reached a boiling point. Todd was absolutely raging at his neighbours, screaming about Summer's heartbreaking decision to stop her insulin. You could see the sheer agony in his face as he talked about his adoptive daughter crumbling under the weight of these false accusations. Gary, who was standing right there, looked like he was about to completely pass out. The guilt, or whatever heavy secret he is carrying, visibly washed over him. He rushed out into the backyard of the pub, desperately grasping for air, and told Maria he was just feeling faint because he hadn't eaten anything all day. But Sarah knew better. She quietly followed him outside, and the moment they were alone, Gary completely shattered. He looked at Sarah and confessed that he was falling to pieces. He mentioned Summer, panicking about her being in the hospital, and told Sarah he simply could not take it anymore. Sarah, acting as his emotional anchor, pulled him in for another deeply intense hug. This entire sequence left viewers at home completely stunned, pausing their screens and rewinding to figure out what on earth is going on between these two. The internet is completely divided. Half of the fandom thinks Sarah and Gary are just rekindling their old flame and hiding a secret intimacy behind Maria and Kit's backs. But the other half is absolutely convinced that this goes so much deeper than a simple romance. Fans are screaming that Gary definitely did more than just smash up Theo's van on the night of the fatal incident. One viewer took to social media to say they initially suspected an affair, but now they are utterly convinced Gary has a direct hand in Theo's permanent departure from Weatherfield, and the sheer confusion is driving everyone crazy. People are pointing out that Sarah and Gary look unbelievably guilty. The body language, the whispered conversations, the dodging of police questions, it all screams cover-up. Another eagle-eyed fan pointed out that Sarah is acting incredibly out of character. She is way too calm about the fact that poor Summer is sitting in a secure facility, facing decades behind bars. Gary and Tyrone seem far more devastated about the whole ordeal, and they aren't nearly as close to Todd as Sarah's family is. If Sarah is completely innocent, why isn't she breaking down over Summer's tragic situation? Whatever she and Gary are covering up is definitely tied to Theo's ultimate demise. Todd is already hanging by a thread, and if he finds out that his own neighbours played a part in this and lets Summer take the fall, it is going to absolutely break him. The questions just keep multiplying. Did Gary actually cause Theo's passing? And does Sarah know all the dark details? Did she help him clean it up? Are they just using the tension as an excuse to fool around? Either way, the two of them are acting incredibly shady, and the viewers are demanding answers right now. The frustration is real, and it brings up a huge point that a lot of longtime fans have been discussing regarding the structure of the show. Many viewers feel like the writers really need to sort out the balance of their storytelling. Sometimes, these deep mysteries drag on for so many months that by the time the truth is revealed, the emotional impact is completely lost. On the flip side, some chapters are rushed so quickly that the audience is left with massive plot holes, feeling like a huge chunk of the narrative was just left on the cutting room floor. Right now, we are teetering on the edge. The suspense is fantastic, but we need a payoff. We know Gary has a very dark history when it comes to covering his tracks. He is no stranger to keeping fatal secrets and looking the other way when things get dangerous. But Sarah dragging herself into this mess is a whole new level of drama, especially with her current boyfriend actively working the case. Imagine the absolute chaos if Kit discovers that his girlfriend is helping the prime suspect hide evidence. The betrayal would be off the charts. We have to wonder how long Gary can keep up this facade before his conscience completely breaks him. He is already suffering from panic attacks in the back alley of the Rovers. How many more days can he watch Todd cry over Summer before he marches into the station and confesses everything to Lisa Swain? This storyline is a ticking time bomb, and every single interaction between Gary and Sarah feels like the wire is about to snap. Whether it is forbidden intimacy or a dark, twisted cover-up of a tragic death, Weatherfield is about to be turned upside down. The truth always finds its way out on the cobbles, and when it does, marriages will be destroyed, careers will end, and someone is inevitably going to end up in a concrete cell for a very long time.